Next is delete an item from the cart. Now, what if you want to delete that item from the cart after we have added it? Like I said before, this is the part. Let's say we add this item from to the cart and we want to delete it. We want to implement this functionality. It's not this button is not the prettiest, but the key thing is I want what we want to do is when we click delete, we want to remove this item from this cart. So to do this, the implementation it's almost the same as updating the item from the cart, only that the logic is a little bit different, but the logic is still the same. So to do this, I'll go back to my code editor. So the first thing we are going to do is create a view function called delete item from cart, like the way we did on update that item at the cart. And then also remember to create a URL. We create a URL, delete from cart, path delete from cart, then views delete item from cart. This view, it's this view we're defining over here. Then we use almost the same logic as we did on the update that item at the cart. Then to finish the URL, make sure you provide a name, delete from cart, whatever name you want to. But if you're following this tutorial with me, make sure that it's the name is similar to what I'm providing over here. Then on our views.py, what we'll start doing is the first thing we do is we get the product ID. That is, we extract product ID from the request parameters. This ID corresponds to the item the user wants to delete from the cart. The same thing like the way we did on update. Then the second thing is we delete item from the session cart data. With this, if data cart object in request.session and product ID, then we say cart data is equals to request.session a cart data object. We also say if product ID in cart data, if that ID is in that cart data, then we want to delete the cart data. And now, no, we want to delete that ID, and that ID is on the cart data. And then I don't know whether it's return. No, we set the cart data object. We set that cart to that cart data. Yeah, so in this case, I think it will end up being empty or not necessarily empty. All other items that are in that cart will remain. If there's no item in that cart, then that means that cart will be empty. So essentially, this logic is we are checking if the cart data object exists in the session and if the product ID is provided. If the product exists in the session's cart data, then it deletes the product from the cart data. Then we update the session with the new cart data after the item has been deleted. Then the next step, it's obviously recalculating the cart total. So like we did previously, it's the same thing. We initialize the cart total amount to store the total price of all the remaining items in the cart. Then we iterate through the updated cart data to calculate the subtotal for each item and the total cart amount. And then we collect the updated cart item details into cart items. Then it's a simple start. Then finally we render updated cart data. Yeah, we rendering the cart data. We are using render to string like the way we did on the update to render the updated cart items into a HTML template. And then this template is the cart list.html, the one we defined over here. Where is it? It's on templates, this cart list. Then finally we return a JSON response, and this one contains the rendered HTML and the total number of items in the cart. Then after writing this view function, next we need a JavaScript function uh, that will handle this request. So to do that, just go to your JavaScript file. In this case, ours is function.js. And then just like we did before on on updating an item at the cart, we write a function to delete that item from the cart. So to do this, it's almost the same thing. It's document dot on click. If we click this event, and then we are passing this class dot delete product, make sure that this class has been added to your cart.html like we did on the update. This class on class, make sure you add delete product, and also in addition add a data product. This data product is equals to item.id. We want to get this id, we want to get this item, no, we want to get, what am I saying, on this item we want to get the id of it, so make sure that it's defined. So let's go back to our JavaScript. So make sure this class has been added. Then, like we said before, we're saying let product ID be the data product, that is the item.id. And we're also saying let this value be this one. Then we log, I did write this for testing to see whether it's getting the ID. So you can test it, you can decide to keep it or remove it, but keep it, it won't hurt. Then we write an Ajax function to send Ajax requests. Like I said before, this one is for sending an asynchronous get request. And in this case, we are sending that get request to the path delete from cart endpoint with the product ID. So we are using the method get, and also we are getting the ID. Yeah, we are deleting it by ID. Of course, then the data type is JSON. Then we are saying before said we want to hide this part. Then after said we want to send a success, we want to send a success message or a success function rather, no, success callback. Then on successful response we want to show the button again. You see this val.show, this was this val.hide. Then we remove the product row from the cart list, that is product plus the product ID. Then we update the cart item count displayed on the page. Let's say it was 10 and we removed one or a couple of them like three. We wanted to update that and update that total count of those items on that cart. And then we also want to update the HTML content of the cart list with the new cart data returned from the saver. Then the final thing is I added an error, a way to handle error messages. So it's essentially an error callback. Here, what we are doing is we just we just log an error message to the console if the Ajax request fails, and then we show the button again in case of an error to allow the user to retry the decision. So I think that's it, and this one should work very well. So like now, if we come over here and then I click, let me just open the console. Like that. If I click delete, you can see it's returning product ID 3. It's the ID of that product is 3. Like it's defined here. It's this console.log. We want to show the product ID, and in that case it was 3. So that one is working correctly. You can see the item has been removed from the cart. Then something else I think it should do is remove the item from the cart and then just refresh this. For me to see the difference of this, I have to like refresh from here for it to update the subtotal and the total amount. But essentially that is, so in summary on this part, what the delete item from cart function, the one we defined here in Django, and the corresponding JavaScript code work together to allow users to remove items from the cart. This process, of course, it involves the validation and updating of the card data on the server side, and then reflecting these changes on the client side dynamically without requiring a page reload. I think that's something you should look at, that page reload. This approach, of course, it ensures an interactive and seamless user experience. So that's it for now. Then next, I think the next thing we're going to look at is the search functionality. Let's say you want to search like just one product or a couple of products. I can want to search like a sneakers. I want to like I search sneakers like that. I will get a list of sneakers over here. Yeah, I think that one will be cool. And then other functionalities. Then maybe after that, maybe you can do like proceed to checkout. But I have so many functionalities I want us to implement. Yeah, that would be cool. So that's it for now. And thank you for watching.